people or organizations that may pose threats to our airport. We'll be able to state why civil aviation is an attractive target for terrorists and for all those who cause trouble for the aviation industry. We also find out types of incidences that pose threats to the aviation industry. We were able to list motives of groups or individuals who pose this threat. It's also be able to know the types of threats to civil aviation and the possible aviation-related targets. Targets where people, audience people want to target at the airport to find out that. We also know the definitions of the airport. We explain the purpose of personnel security and the nature of insider threat. And of course, I will explain the possible signs that the person is a risk to the airport. So let's go to section 1, threat to aviation. This is a timeline for a couple of incidents that happened between 1986 and sometime in 2006, 2009 or so. Now, we'll not be able to mention all of these incidences, but I will take the first one. Now, sometimes, when you come to the counter, the security will ask you, even the airlines will ask you, did you pack your bag yourself? Sometimes we look at that question that it is not an important question, but something gave rise to that question. It's a Hindawi affair. That's what we call it. If you go to the internet and Google it, you will find out the story. But I'll give you a brief story about this. The man there is, his name is Neza Hindawi. He's from Jordan. He lives in the United Kingdom. The lady beside him there is a lady he engaged to marry. She was 5 months pregnant at the time this incident occurred. Now, he made the lady believe that she should go to Tel Aviv to meet his parents. Then he packed the bag for her. While doing so, he hid 1.5 kilograms of same-test explosives, or maybe about 3.3, which other weight that is similar, is it pound weight or something. That is quite large to bring an aircraft down. He also put in her bag a calculator that is functioning. That calculator is a detonating device. But when the woman was asked at the airport, did you pack your bag yourself? She said no. So the officers decided to search deeper, and they found these items. The man went on the run. Well, there was a manhunt for him. He was being chased. But the next day, he went to the police and surrendered himself. He was jailed for 45 years. Although the funniest part of this story is that the lady said that he'll be waiting for him when he comes out from the prison. Have you seen that sort of thing before? But why are we saying this? If a man like this could put the wife in such a big risk because he was agitated, he wanted he felt that by bringing that aircraft that is a way of fighting the government. If he could do that, we don't know what people are thinking, do we? Do we know what they are thinking? So we don't take our jobs in a way that doesn't show seriousness. We need to be serious with what we do. Now there are other incidences why all road baggage must be accounted for. Well, this is Pan Am 103 flight. It was brought down. He fell finally in Lockerbie with all the passengers dead. What caused the crash? A bag that was not owned by anybody was loaded into an aircraft, and it was explosive, and it fell the aircraft down. Although when they were screening the bag, the officer who screened the bag saw that this thing was concealed in a radio, in the radio speakers. Because it was a black and white kind of monitor we had then, the person could not detect because they looked the same. The speaker was removed. Because there is a measure, there is a procedure that this water should not go beyond the screening point. Now what happened was that we we are trying to manufacture a large number of liquid explosives, and they were to carry in different airlines traveling from UK to United States, and they wanted to bomb the aircraft at the same time using this liquid explosive. But they got the tips and they arrested them, and then that plot did not work. They also found out that the containers they were using were more than 100 mils. They also found out that if a liquid explosive is not more than 100 mils per container, it will not be very active. That's why they ask you, they tell you, just carry 100 mils or less. Anything more than that is not allowed. Now, this is about vehicles. So if you look at the front of the terminal now, the car park is farther away, about 50 meters. Some airports are even farther than that. It's because of this incident. Someone who drove canisters, a vehicle filled with canisters, ran into a section of the airport. I think that's Glasgow Airport or so. And then some part of that airport were damaged seriously. And the airport was closed down for quite some time. Of course, there were people who also lost their lives in that incident. Now, why it is important to conduct body searches? This one will interest us because it's involved in Nigeria. Abdul Muttalab, Farouk Abdul Muttalab. They call him underpants bomber because the explosive was concealed in his pants. Explosive, these are powder explosives he concealed, and he already planned that he was going to detonate it. But it also didn't work because he wore that pants that contained that explosive for a very long time. Because if you look at the history of his travel, he came from somewhere on the road to Ghana. From Ghana, he came to Nigeria. From Nigeria, he went to Amsterdam. From Amsterdam, he was on his way to UK. So the explosive could not also work. Now, we are mentioning all of these incidences to show you that over the years, the aviation industry has been a target for terrorists. We'll find out later why they're interested in aviation as we go on. The young man, of course, is still in jail, and he said that he doesn't regret his actions. So you can see how hard terrorists can be. There have been recent attacks. This aircraft was brought down. It's Egypt A321. Somewhere around Sinai, mountainous region, it was brought down. And look at what was used to bring it down. A kind of soft drink. That's where the explosives were packed. And the little device by the side was timed. And at the appropriate time, it brought that aircraft down. Now, somebody is carrying Fanta. It's a liver, and a Fanta carry. How do you know it's Fanta? How do you know it's Fanta? So we should be very careful. The rules in the aviation industry, the rules we have, these rules are not just made, they are not arbitrary rules. These rules have been put in place so that they prevent certain things from occurring again because they have happened in the past. This is how it looks like in the X-ray machine. For those of us who are familiar with the X-ray machine, this is how that device looks like. If the officer was very careful, he would have called for the search of this bag because of the heavy mass of the organic material at that point. But some airports, the machine is faulty or the officer did not do his work well. Or perhaps that same device may have been smuggled. We don't know how it got into the aircraft. In either case, we need to be serious about what we are doing. This is laptop bombing, Mogadishu laptop bombing. I also tell you, that's how the laptop looked on the X-ray machine. The laptop was in a bag, so it was not very clear. So sometimes, in fact, that is the rule now that if you're traveling and you have your laptop in your bag, what do? Take your laptop out and scan it separately. Also, this is what caused it. Someone packed explosives, he removed the battery and the hard drive area, now pack explosive and do all their connections and all that. Even when this thing happens, if you come to the airport, they will ask you on your laptop, on it. But now that has been relaxed, take it out and scan. Now, this guy sat at the middle of the aircraft. He got a good seat. If I wanted to divide the aircraft into two, he sat at the window side. But unfortunately, the aircraft delayed. So by the time this bomb detonated, the aircraft had not gained much pressure. And so the impact was minimal. But the guy himself was really going with that in that attack. Because when it exploded, it opened the part he was, and he was sucked out. The pilot was able to land this aircraft safely. This is also Istanbul terror attack. 3 explosions at the same time. 2 inside the terminal building, 1 was on the car park. They know that once the terminal building is shaking, people will run to the car park. So the one in the car park, then 15 minutes later, they also killed more persons. Now, we are mentioning all of this is not to scare us, but just to let us know that being in the airport, security of the airport is a very serious business. We have aircraft to protect, we have people, passengers to protect, we have crew, and even people who are working at the airport, we have everybody to protect. So when you don't do your work well, you endanger other people. But once you have the intent, I will do it, you have that determination, I will do it, I will do it. Then finally, you have the capability to do it. If you have these 3 things, the threat level will usually be high. And that is why when a credible organization tells you that they want to bomb, for example, Boko Haram says that they want to attack one of the airports in Nigeria. They didn't mention the particular airport. Every airport was busy trying to protect their airports. Why? Because they have the motivation. It's religious. It's religious. Nobody is granting them their requests. They also have the intent. They have done it several times. They want to do it. It's what they want to do. But they have the capability. We know that they can do it. So we consider their threats, for example, a very serious war. Now, something else, vulnerability. Who can tell us what vulnerability is? Vulnerability. Who can tell us what it is? Anybody mention what it is? Can someone attempt? Vulnerability. Is it? Thank you. Being exposed to something. If you have a weak point, if you have a point that is weak in your chain, something that can be exploited to get at you, that's a vulnerability. Thank you for that, Stella. Thank you for the part you mentioned. So those characteristics of a target which could be exploited in an attack is vulnerability. For example, which part of our airport can be exploited? It's interactive now at this point. Which part is to be exploited? The perimeter fence, can it be compromised? What about the powerhouse? So there are places that are actually very weak, and people could take advantage of to get at you. That is a vulnerability. Now, risk is a measure of success. Now, I'm talking about you have a vulnerability, and now there is a threat. If that threat succeeds in making use of any of your vulnerabilities, if it's easy, the risk is high. If it is not easy, the risk is what? Low. That is why I say that calculation, there's a threat times vulnerability is equals to risk. If the threat is low, vulnerability is low, The risk will be what? Will it be high? Are we following? If the threat is low, vulnerability is low, will the risk be high? It will also be low. But if these two other variables, if they are high, definitely a risk will be high. Now I want to look at those who pose, take note of this one, those who pose, those who pose at the airport. And the first one have the terrorists. Who have not heard that word before? Terrorism, terrorists. Who have not heard? Look who they are not so. Like we said before, their motivation could be political, could be religious, whatever it is, they are fighting for a cause. And they want to go at all length, they want to go at all lengths to achieve what they want. Now what you see there are three men. These three men were involved in a bombing at Okoli Brussels airport. Three of them, they knew they were going to die. That's the CCTV image that captured them when they were going toward boarding. They carried out a bombing. They died with the explosives, but they succeeded in killing, 32 civilians. Can you imagine coming to an airport, detonated a bomb, and kill 32 civilians? They may include staff, passengers, and other people who are working. But they also have criminals. The criminals, their intent is not political. Usually their intent is what? They want money, something of value. Of course, that has occurred in the past. This happened in 2013 in Brussels airport still. They found that the aircraft was carrying this diamond worth £32 million. The organized criminals, they attacked the aircraft while it was starting to take off, and they succeeded in taking this diamond worth of this value. Of course, there was a lot of shootouts and a lot of people died. We also have people who have mental illness, mad people. They also pose a threat to civil aviation. That's why when you're at the screening point, if a madman passes you and gets to the foot of the aircraft, you have failed. No, sir. Have you not failed? Seriously. But it has happened though. Sometimes the madman will tell you that I passed through here. They remember where they passed from. They will tell you they passed through that place. Now, somebody may have seen that madman maybe from the car park and refused to report. That's what I'm talking about security awareness. We'll get to that. If you look at your t-shirt, what they wrote at the back, if you see something, do what? Say something. Security, don't keep quiet, because you may not be able to manage information, but those who manage it will do so. This man is a pilot. He looked at his fellow pilot, crashed the aircraft he was piloting because he was a mad person. At the time, he began to have suicidal thoughts. And even before he flew this aircraft, there was a report that he should not fly this aircraft, but because the airline needed him to do his job, they went to do something that is not authorized. When that happens, you are an insider. Now we have types of insiders. Let's just move forward. We have types of insiders. I think while I was editing this, I removed it, but just for mentioning sake, we have three types of. These are deliberate. These are the ones that before they enter the job, they know that if they enter this job, they will have opportunity to have access to certain places, and they want to do bad things. They already know before they enter the job. We also have those who enter the job, and along the line, something made them to feel that they want to misuse the assets they have. And of course, the third group are those that are recruited by other people. Somebody can pay you, do this for me, then I'll pay you handsomely. Or they may even hold his family hostage and tell that we should go and do something, otherwise they will kill his family members. So these are the three groups of persons that are insiders. Let us look at types of threats. Hijacking. Who doesn't know what hijacking is? Hijacking means unlawful seizure of aircraft. Unlawfully, you seize the aircraft, either on ground or in flight, and you take it to somewhere else, begin to make demands. Or you can use the aircraft for whatever you want to do with it. That is one form of threats. We also have attacks on the ground. There have been cases where terrorists have targeted aircraft that is flying overflying their region. You use manpad. You know what manpad is? This device that looks like rockets. Somebody will fire it. They target the aircraft. They can bring it down. Because once a part of the aircraft is damaged, that aircraft has been sabotaged. Flying becomes very difficult for that aircraft. It may go down eventually. In many cases, it has happened like that. We also have bomb on board, where you place bomb in any part of the aircraft, especially within the cabin or where you load bags. Just conceal the bomb there. And most times, it's insiders that do this part of the job. Because someone who is not a passenger, who is not a staff, cannot just have access to those places. Sometimes the passengers who also have bad motive will also succeed in doing that. But in most cases, they send someone who works at the airport, go and do this for us. Just place it. You only just put it. We are not saying just put it. So see why we need to search everyone who is going through the security screening. We also have armed attack. Terrorists, they prefer to attack an airport and kill people. It has happened. We saw the picture earlier. What you see there is an attack that lasted all night. The airport was attacked, and that's Karachi International Airport in Pakistan. The terrorists were being repelled by the military forces. There was heavy shootout. There were explosives that was shot towards the airport and all that. This was what the look is when we take this picture from afar. So we also have as threats persons who can attack the aircraft. We also have sabotage of an airport. You may be placing a bomb in the airport or cutting off the electrical wires to disconnect equipment that will work well and so on. Sabotage is when somebody intentionally decides to make something not to work well again. If it's intentionally sabotage. So I mentioned how many now? Terrorists, criminals, armed attack, I was also mentioned sabotage. This is also common, interference after screening. After screening a bag, somebody will go and smuggle something inside the bag. That is why after screening a bag, the bag should be looked after. I've had cases, but there's an experience in Port Harcourt, I don't know if you remember it. There was a lady working with Dana Airlines. Something was removed from a bag. Because of this insider threat we're talking about, the person took that same item and pretended as if she was going to do something else on the airside and tried to smuggle it inside the passenger. It's big men that travel through the airport. So that is one of the interests of terrorists. They know that if they come here to attack this place, they will get at some persons that are important. So that is one of the reasons. Second reason is that the attack will force government to react. If you go and bomb one supermarket at Osubi, government will not talk. News can carry it, the government will not react. They come and bomb Osubi Airport. Will government react? Yes. Will they react? Yes. So they know that government will react. So that's one of the reasons they also target the airport. They also know that they will find many persons at the airport, especially the departure lounge, the check-in area. If they succeed to enter into the aircraft, they know that they will find many persons there. That's another reason why they target the airport. And then it can have a huge impact with limited risk to the attacker. Why do we say limited risk to the attacker? One person can sacrifice, or a group can send one person just to sacrifice one person to give 500, to give 300, to give 200 something. So to them, it's cheaper. Sometimes they even do it at the risk of no death. They will escape, they will just plan something and go away. But if there are places you cannot go, even though there are public places that you can succeed like that. Now we're going to section 3, basic airport security awareness. If you have any question at this point, I can take it. Because we're entering, this is why we are here. This session is why we are here. Now, these are things you need to know if you're at the airport. Air transport or air transportation is an exciting and dynamic business. It is exciting. People want to fly. If you tell somebody, you go with me on an aircraft, how does a person feel? Excited. And it's also dynamic because it's not static. There are changes at the port. So many things are happening and all that. So people are interested at the airport. It's also an important part of our economy. Imagine the number of persons that this airport is feeding. Direct and indirect. Imagine when this airport was closed down, so many persons were at home, not so. But the airport is working now, so many persons are back. The airlines are back. The staff, they are back. Everybody's back. Even government is also getting money. There are taxes and a lot of things. So it's a way to actually help the economy to grow. Okay? You know, I'm talking like a security man. I can stand like this for 5 days. But someone has caught my attention that not everyone can stand as I am standing. Of course, it's also normal that after a time, some person will be sleeping, some other person will be tired, our minds are wandering. So we just want to go on our feet and just walk around for like 2 minutes and be back. We continue, please. Of course, all of us who work at the airport take great pride in the facility and services we provide. Imagine a security man with his uniform well kitted at the screening point, he's dishing out commands and they're obeying. How do you feel? Happy. But you might have that urge to abuse that privilege. Well, aviation security is an essential part of the airport. This is because without aviation security, the airport will not function. In fact, fire and ABSEC, if they go on strike, no aircraft will depart, no aircraft will land. The airport will be closed. So aviation security is a very important part of the airport job. Please, let's take note of that. Now, increasing security at the airport. Sometimes people say, you are wasting my time. Hurry up, I'm missing my flight. That is things you hear from passengers. Sometimes staff who are assessing the screening point, they will tell you, you are wasting my time, let me pass, and all that. Remember that for security to be effective, the security man will have to do his work thoroughly. He doesn't rush over his job. We are saying this because these are some of the things we have observed, that persons are impatient to go through the security process. They are in a hurry to go. We know, yes, we are wasting your time. We're also mindful of the fact that security is more important than your time at the airport. Security is more important. You can beat the time and you have problems. So we should know this, that as far as security is concerned, there will be time wastage on the part of staff who are assessing certain areas, also on the part of passengers. So don't try to patronize them. Some people say, I leave them, now people are wasting their time. What is in the bag that they have not seen before? No. That's why they tell you, come to the airport 40 minutes before your flight. So you take time to go through the security process and not complain about time. Now, one of the challenges we want to mention is time. That's long lines. You have to endure the long lines. Another one is also dump searching. Who knows what dump searching is? Dump searching. At the baggage, you bring down the bag, you drop it. You have not seen the owner. You drop it, keep dropping. By the time the owners start coming one by one, there are so many bags on the ground that needs to be checked. It also causes delay. You will experience that. That is because security will have to do the job. We also see conflicting regulations. Some will tell you where I'm coming from. They don't take scissors. Where I'm coming from, they allow lighters. Where I'm coming from, you don't know what you're doing here. Regulations differ from country to country, especially when they are not standards. Standards, we don't change them. We call them standard practices. But recommended practices, it depends on the country. If they don't like that method, they will not adopt it. They only file a different, what we call a different. They just write an account that we cannot do this. This is what we want to do. So sometimes you see conflict. Like in the US, in Europe, if you're traveling, you can have a lighter on inside your pocket and you board the aircraft. But it's not allowed in Nigeria. In some countries, you can carry oil. In Nigeria, it is not allowed. So you have conflicting regulations. So whatever security tells you is their regulation, we have to do what? Obey. It is for our good. Also, there may be frustration. Somebody did not sleep well in the night, he's packing. He managed to wake up early in the morning, he rushed through the traffic, finally he got to the airport, and you are giving the person stress. How will the person feel? How will the person feel? Frustrated, not so. He's already tired. He's tired with the whole thing. He's frustrated. Now, while you have this at the back of your mind that, yes, security procedures will lead to this. This is what we should be doing. We must be cautious. Whether a security staff, an airport user, be patient with these people. You don't know what they have gone through to get to the airport. Be cautious. Use good words. Use kind words. Sorry, how may I help you? What is your challenge? Sometimes you'll be asking information. You say, I better go ask that person. No, I don't know. Go ask that person. Now, you may be adding to the person's frustration also. So, like we're saying, all of us, we are part of security. Whatever issue that results will eventually lead to security problem. Because the person may quarrel, he may decide to break something and they're disturbing, he might decide to do one funny thing at the airport. Security will step in. Now all of us have that responsibility to assist others and talk with them in a cautious way. Give them good information, reassure them that you are doing the best to assist them. Now, we should also learn good security practices. Good security practices, some of us should learn it. We are going to come to those good security practices. Once you are fond of doing those things, they become part of you. something you do all the time, you do it all the time, it becomes part of you. It's like a fire drill. If a man knows what to do whenever he sees fire, because he has been going through drill almost on a daily basis. So once he sees that fire, you are running away from the fire, he is running to the fire because he's not scared. Then everyone's commitment is what? Everyone's commitment is what? Let me tell you, security is not mine. We have aviation security. Doesn't mean that we do all the security at the airport. Is that correct? Do we do all the work at the airport? We rely on everybody. That's why we say security is every person's business. If you say it's not your business, it will be your business. Let me give you an example. You see a bag that is not attended to. You pass it, say it's not your business. That bag contains explosives. Perhaps if you have reported, they would have called the bomb person, he will evacuate the area and know what to do. But you refuse. The bomb will not explode. They will close the airport. Now the facilities that make up the land side are things like the roads. Of course, we put rail lines here because in some airports, you see rail lines running from the airport to the city. Once you arrive, you see a train station, just go there, board your train. It's also within the airport, but it's on the land side. The car park, the one for car hire car park, the general car park, they're all on the land side. The multi-story garages, we don't have anyone here. Maybe Sunday we'll build one, but in Lagos we have. You see some buildings, about 2-3 story buildings, you see vehicles moving to park on them. They're also the land side area of the airport. Rental car facilities, the football field we have there, they are all on the land side. Part of the terminal building is also land side. Do we know that? Do we know that? Okay, we are learning today that part of the terminal building is also on the land side. Especially that part that access is not restricted. Like the ticketing counters, you can walk in there, it's on the land side. But that does not mean that access is not controlled.
I want to thank Prophet Jeremiah of Mercyland. He's the sponsor of this event. I really want to thank him. I really want to appreciate him. He's not here anyway, but God will continue to bless him, more anointing in the name of Jesus. Amen. Our program will continue tomorrow. I will want all of you to be here by 2 p.m. tomorrow. We are having seminars, workshop, and quiz competition by 2 p.m. in admin lobby. Please, I will want to, Coach, please, I want all of you to be present tomorrow. I really appreciate all of you. God will bless you. As you go, God will go with you in Jesus' name. Thank you all. I love you all. Thank you.